So we're wrapping up practice here on Rayburn, doing some last minute idling. We got to be off 30 minutes after sunset, so whatever, I got another half hour or so. Been just kind of running around, marking some brush piles, keying in some areas I think I'm going to catch some fish. You can see here, let's see, we just had one. Hang on, there we go. You can see there's a brush pile. Got one on it there, right at the top of it, maybe two. Just kind of idling around, checking things out. It's been an alright practice. I feel like I can go out there, fish a bunch of brush, some offshore structure, and catch, I don't know, maybe, hopefully 12. I'd be happy with 12 doing that offshore stuff. Then I'm going to go shallow, looking for some bigger ones. I caught a couple on a rattle trap that had like a 3 1/4 was my biggest one. I lost one that felt really good. I had it hooked up on the edge of some hydrilla and just pulled off for whatever reason. Just, I guess, the nature of treble hooks. But here, I'll take you guys so you can watch this. I'll keep talking, but you guys see that we got to lay down over here. Got this little thing here. But a couple more out there. It's just been tough. So the first day, it was a lot of rain. It started probably about 11 o'clock and rained until basically this morning. There's a brush pile right there. It's a tall one right there. Look at that. You can see it there. You can see it on the side scan. Mark that one. But what happened was you kind of couldn't get around quite as easily. It was kind of a little bit of a mess just trying to, just being all wet and whatnot. It was a decent first day. I probably had 10 to 15 bites. I caught a majority of them out of brush. I caught a couple on a jackhammer up shallow. Those fish weren't really anything special, but yesterday I probably had, let's see, probably 11 or so pounds, I would guess. A lot of 12 to 14 inches, so like right on that line of being keepers. Caught a nice spotted bass actually on a Carolina rig, so that was interesting. Just I think the only spot I caught. But then this morning I got up again. It was out here super early. It was kind of misty and raining this morning. It was kind of gross. I found brush pile. That's what it looks like on the 2D there. I found an area that I actually caught them there previously. There's some bait there. You can see some bass around them. And I threw a chatterbait up there. I caught one, probably a little over 2, and then I was trolling out to go across to the other side of this drain, and I saw a little brush pile, so I turned around, flipped my drop shot over to it, and caught a probably big 2. He wasn't 3, but he was big 2. It was a solid fish. You can see, let me go back to this, you can see this, that's all the bait there. That's what it looks like on the side scan. You can actually see it out to the side a little bit here. Go back over here real quick. That's the 2D, what it looks like. That's a fish. That's a fish there too. Right there, that's probably a little bit, that's a piece of timber right here. You can see it's, oh, sorry, it sticks up straight up. That's this piece right there. There's a lay down over there. So, after I caught those 2 in the morning, I went and kind of struggled a little bit. I was looking for some offshore stuff, deeper, and I kind of just kept going around, looking, and ended up finding a couple more brush piles, caught them, and then I started looking some areas kind of where I plan on fishing shallow, throwing that chatterbait trap up there. I kind of kept working those, and I found a lot of brush. So I think I have plenty of that marked. I think if I run it all, I'll be able to go out there, hopefully, and catch 5 that are 2.5 or bigger, and then go catch a big one up shallow. Is kind of my game plan. So here we got a ton of bait. I'm just gonna do a little video here, just kind of some looking through. You can see it's from the bottom all the way to about 10 foot. That's bait here, straight under the boat. Bait, it's all over the place. It's everywhere. There's a little like brush pile, probably an old one. It's not real together, but there's some bass on that, so it's a good one. We'll mark that. Let's see, fish. There we go. Got that marked. Another little brush pile there. That's what it all looks like on the 2D. Working our way across. I don't know if this roadbed's actually here or not. Driven across it a couple times looking, but we'll see. I know you guys like seeing the settings. You can see we got it on, this is the down. I have that on auto. Contrast is at, right now it's at 68, so I bumped it up a little bit. Makes it a little bit brighter, makes those fish stand out a little bit better. Color palette 9. Sometimes I'll jump that back to 8 just to kind of change it up. It helps me look at it a little bit better. My fish reveal options, there they are. I adjust that a little bit. I like to turn the sensitivity of that down so I can actually see the fish as a white dot instead of being the actual like arch in there, kind of like the. I have to put it color palette 13. It would be the same. Here, hang on. Hit the wrong button. Fish reveal option sensitivity. So if we turn that up to like the default, you see how it turns them into that arch that looks just like your 2D. I prefer to have it down. Then I can see them just as a white dot. That's just my preference of looking at them. I think it's a good way. It's how I train my eyes before the fish reveal. So just kind of some settings I have there. Let's keep going. What else do we got? Let's go back up here. You can see here we got some settings. I got it on 80 foot. When I'm looking for brush piles, I like to keep it not too far out so I can actually get a good look at them. There's one on the side scan right there. That's a nice brush pile. You can see it stands up a little bit. It's got some color to the behind it there. That's one that put my mark on there. There we go. And then we can see we're about to get back to that 80. We're going back down into the drain itself right here. Working our way down in there. I'm gonna go out, idle across this piece here. This is like just like a high percentage of it. It's where the old creek channel is. You can see that's tight topo lines. So like the points on them, there's a lot of times is where you want to be looking. And when you get down into those creek channels, there's a lot of bait. There's some old wood down there. You can see that's the part of that lay down. A lot of bait down there. Some stuff over here. Take a look at that. Let's see what else we got settings wise for you. My contrast right now I have it at +1. I'll adjust that. Sometimes I'll bump it up a little bit more. Sometimes I bump it down. Just depends on the water, but it's a good thing to play with. Let's see. Flip. I have mine. My transducer's on kind of a little bit goofier. Just the way it fits better on the Bass Cat with the TH Marine jack plate. So I gotta flip it. Otherwise, you'll be reading the wrong side essentially. That way, the best way to figure that out is when you idle out from the boat ramp, go close to it, and you'll see the boat ramp on your right. And make sure it's on the right, not the left. If it is backwards, you'll know pretty quick. That's a good way to do it, though. Or find a seawall or something that has a hard edge that you can tell definitively which way it should be. We got some more bait. There's a bunch of wood down there. The water CC is 55. Yesterday I was finding a lot of it in the 50-degree range. Depends how far back in the pockets you get. They were cooling down quicker just because they were shallow. Didn't see a whole lot of brush on this one. If you want to see my 2D settings, I think this is important. You can see I got A+3 auto depth range. Options. Color palette 13 is my favorite. It just really makes those arches when they're tight to the bottom show up really well. There you go. There's a couple fish down there, so you can see them right underneath that ball of bait. There's 4 of them or so, and then you can see them. There's white dots right there, and there are the same fish. There's a lot of bait out here, which is a good thing. Good areas to check. Out there we got a bunch of timber around it, so that's just kind of some things I'm looking for. I've been practicing on, trying to figure out how to find these winning fish. We'll stay tuned. I'll put the fish catches in my next recap video, so hopefully I go out there and catch a bunch of big ones. Can show you guys some fish on brush piles, how I caught them. And if you have any questions,